I think as a country, we have to determine that we do not want X, Y, Z in our society, and we're all going to speak up and implement laws and deal with laws. But a lot of the issues are very complex issues. So the domestic violence issue that you raise is a very, very complex issue. You know, the person you love the most and who your heart skips a beat for every time you see, and who you'd give anything for, is the person who hurts you by slapping you or kicking you. And that's so it's very easy for you after the first initial hurt to get back with that person, because you have the complex dynamic of these emotions and love and so on. Things are changing though. So I'm 25 years this year as a lawyer. When I came back in 2000, I still remember this because I was just shocked. You know, we learn from the book at law school what you have to do and what the rules are and what orders you can get under the Domestic Violence Act. And I was very proud that Guyana had a Domestic Violence Act. It was 4 years old at the time. In 1996, we had passed that. And I go to a court 6 in the Mirage building, and the magistrate looks, I go all enthusiastic, I'm going to get this order because this is years of abuse and it's all detailed in this affidavit. And the magistrate looks at me and he says, you want me to put him out because he slapped her?
Wow.
I said, I want you to put him out because the law says this is what she's entitled to if she's being abused and beaten in her house. He didn't make the order. And that was 25 years ago. Now, if I go with that same affidavit, a court will make that order, most likely, or it's going to be a public outcry. So we have moved, we have changed, but the complexity of the human romantic relationship has not changed a lot. So you still have that to deal with. And so you have countries like the United States of America where every 3 seconds somebody is abused domestically. It's not a Guyana problem. Right. It's a very, very complex issue. So to help along those issues, but we can educate people. And so I've actually seen a change. The police back then in 2000, 2005, 2006, 2010 even, the police would not, would laugh at some reports. That's very different now. Very different. You might still have the odd rogue cop laughing here and there, but it's not seen as cool. Everybody would scorn him or her if it gets out that he's laughing or she's laughing. Then Minister Rohi had put a whole policy in place that if someone comes in to make a report, it must be recorded. It must reach the court and let the court deal with whether you're going to dismiss or drop the charges or whatever. But that was not going to happen at the police station anymore, because the mischief we were trying to cure then was that complainants were dropping the matters at the police station, and then there was also the claim that the police wasn't taking it seriously. So to remove that burden from understanding or knowing for sure whether it was the police taking it seriously, he said every complaint has to reach the court. Let the court deal with whether somebody wants to drop the matter or not. So we've moved over the years. We've not moved to a place of complete eradication, because you're talking about human beings and delinquent human behavior. But we've definitely moved from a place where we used to be. We have to move to speedier trials and a more accountable system. So no magistrate should feel comfortable, because it's usually in the magistrate's courts that these matters are dealt with, should feel comfortable adjourning a matter repeatedly, because every time you do that, you make a woman unsafe. Deal with this matter, deal with it expeditiously, and make orders that you're allowed to make without hesitating. The learning on this issue, I mean, these things are so old now that it irritates me when I see people not being cognizant of them. Nobody runs to a court or a police after the first slap, you know. The learning is you're abused for about 35 times before you make a first official complaint. And if we get courts to start understanding that, then you don't adjourn matters as we go along. We have a new developing thing now with using media to hurt women by exposing nude pictures either given to you or acquired by you, even if it wasn't given to you when a relationship ends. And I've seen courts dragging their feet on how quickly that should be addressed. You shouldn't drag your feet on that. And so the society has to develop an intolerance for that, so that any system, magistrate, police, the justice system in any way kind of slows down on this, that the nation runs you out of town, and that there's no tolerance from any of us that allows for that kind of sloth, which in turn allows offenders to repeat, or people looking on to feel comfortable doing this. Why don't we walk around killing people? Because we don't want to be in jail. We don't want to be sentenced to death. We don't want to invoke the ire and scorn of our fellow citizens. And so the system has to be accountable and has to present itself in a way that deters people who might want to repeat offend, or be a repeat offender, or people who are looking on and growing up. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to be scorned. I don't want to have a court impose a sentence on me, so I will not do X or Y or Z. So the system has to be more accountable.